All right, guys, what's up? I hope everybody's doing good. My name is Basil, and I'm here with Avril. Avril is from Neutron. Today we have another video. We are welcoming him into Cosmoverse. So welcome, Avril. And so yeah, today we're going to be talking with one of the team members from Neutron. Neutron is, just to give you guys a high level, just to start, for people who don't know, Neutron will be one of the first consumer chains on the Cosmos Hub, and they will be bringing smart contracts and some Cosmosm. So Cosmosm implemented smart contracts on Cosmos Hub. And so let's start from the top. How are you doing?
Pretty good, actually. Busy days as usual, but doing pretty good.
That's good. That's good. I think a lot of people are interested with Neutron, a lot of consumer chains and Cosmos Hub. It's a lot of new things coming on Cosmos Hub, and then you guys being one of the newest additions basically on Cosmos Hub. I think a lot of people are excited. They want to see how you guys are going to be implemented, what other dexes or whatever projects are going to be built on these smart contracts, whatever it may be. So a lot of people are also interested to see how this is going to be played out, and what benefits it brings to Cosmos Hub in general. Maybe we could start at the beginning. Like I kind of have this question personally, and it does have to do with a proposal 69, if we could start with that one, and how proposal 69 wanted to bring Cosmosm to the Cosmos Hub for consumer chains and things like that, and then that got denied. I'm pretty sure it got denied. But then the thing what happens is, what happened afterwards? Was Neutron kind of an idea that happened because it got denied, or was it always that Neutron was going to come in and do smart contracts?
So it was already an idea that we were considering, but the fact that proposal 69 was rejected made the idea kind of viable, because if you think about it, bringing Cosmosm virtual machine, so smart contract compatibility onto a consumer chain is very similar to bringing it on the host, on the hub, except you have this kind of separation, isolation, that is the fact that the validators are actually running two separate nodes, one for the hub and one for Neutron, so that if something goes wrong on one of the others, on one of these two chains, the two chains don't go down at the same time. And for example, errors caused by non-determinism in Cosmosm, for example, wouldn't bring the hub down with the consumer chain that is providing the VM. So you have this kind of very nice property in terms of security here, and you also have kind of a better alignment with the usual concept of the hub as a very minimal, secure, stable kind of zone at the core of Cosmos. And so if 69 had passed, you wouldn't have had these properties, but you would have had a very central zone with smart contract capabilities and very likely interchain accounts of very high security. And so having Neutron as kind of a duplicate of that would have been much less valuable and much less viable as well. Yeah. So in a way, it kind of enabled Neutron to make sense, kind of.
Right. And how much did it have about hub neutrality, and did that have anything to play with it? Obviously, in this case, I guess.
Well, yeah, actually, it's a big part of it. So you could make a smart contract platform without interchain security, and in fact, there are already quite a few of these. The reason why we thought interchain security was so important is for two to three reasons, I guess. The first one, obviously, being the economic security that interchain security provides you is much higher. It's about, last time I checked, the prices move very quickly, but last time I checked, it was 10x the economic security of Terra or Juno or others, or some other platforms. It's so high, in fact, that it's actually similar to Near and Polygon, I believe. It depends on the market, but so it's quite high, right? So you want that degree of security, especially if you're going to make protocols that are TVL intensive, like liquid staking protocols, DEXs, money markets, everything that requires you to deposit significant amounts of value to use is going to want to have this high degree of security. The second thing is a kind of like ecosystem alignment, whereby the fact that you have this very close relationship to the hub, so in interchain security, the way it works is that the validator set from the hub validates the consumer chain, right? If the provider is not the hub, then the validator set of that different chain can provide security to another chain. But anyway, so in exchange for this service of providing security, producing blocks, the validator set is paid with either atoms that are bought to pay for the fees, or with the zone's native token. So it accrues value back to the provider chain. So you have kind of this very nice feedback loop where the more secure the provider is, the more attractive the interchain secured platform becomes, because it's also more secure. And the more attractive it becomes, the more fees it accrues through the provider chain as well. And so there is this kind of like, very nice mutually beneficial relationship between the two that seemed very important to us in terms of, enforcing the alignment of Neutron with the hub and vice versa, kind of making sure that the interests align there. And then the last thing as well is that Cosmos Hub, because it has this kind of, slow-paced approach to technology, but also to governance, is kind of, Cosmos as a whole, as an ecosystem, is very well known for its drama, but still, like, the hub is somewhat tame in this regard. It has seen its fair share as well, but the goal as these governance systems mature is to reach some state where there are processes and customs, like soft law, code, all of these coming together to make sure that the hub itself kind of acts as this mediator between all the zones in the ecosystem, and kind of bringing Neutron into this sphere of influence was also a way to, have alignment with the rest of Cosmos, but also have this kind of like pacifying effect on the governance of Neutron as well, I guess.
Right. So basically we have the blockchain that is Cosmos Hub, and then we're building on another blockchain that's going to be producing blocks for Neutron through interchain security, right? And then that's a separate chain. Okay.
So like the Cosmos Hub is a sovereign blockchain with its own validator set, right? Neutron is a sovereign blockchain, except it doesn't get its security from its own validator set. It gets its security from some kind of a contractual relationship that it has with the Cosmos Hub, which is kind of like signed by governance, right?
Right.
And so these two entities kind of enter some kind of a partnership where the validator set of the Cosmos Hub is going to agree into a contract that is enforced by code to produce, like, to run a node, so to set up kind of like a separate validator for that other chain, and to run a node to validate the block, to produce the block, to propose the blocks. And if they fail in this duty, they can be slashed on the Cosmos Hub as well. And this relationship is entirely kind of like parameterized and contractualized at the governance level, kind of, and in the code of the module that allows this as well. At a technical level, the way it works is you basically need to replace some of the modules that handle governance, staking, like consensus and stuff, with versions of them that support interchain security, basically.
Okay, yeah. So basically also, so now we have basically Neutron's blockchain, and then we have now people can build off of Neutron smart contracts, right? And so one of the things is obviously in Prop 72 was getting funded, so that one of the projects was Lido, for example, liquid staking, to be built on Neutron, correct?
So yes and no. So
yes and no.
Not get funded by Proposal 72. Lido is kind of like not part of Proposal 72. It's just that Lido is it's a significant player in the DeFi space, and we believe that we can bring Lido into Cosmos, which is likely to bring, a lot of activity, a lot of growth for the ecosystem.
Right.
Lido is pretty good when it comes to, understanding how validation works and trying, to move stake around to try and decentralize the validator set as much as possible. And so, like when we started chatting with Informal Inc. about perhaps participating to Prop 72 after they had published a draft onto the forum, we thought like, okay, so we're going to bring this zone, and we know that we have at least already one customer, which is Lido, right? And so like Lido is not part of Proposal 72, but it's kind of like, okay, so, our product, this zone, which you can launch smart contract on, already has a customer, basically. It's not even made yet, but it already has a customer. So we thought, it's a good way to show that we will actually be bootstrapping the adoption of interchain security and, interchain accounts and interchain queries, which we implement and make available to smart contracts, basically.
I understand. So yeah, the thing is I was just trying to dissect things that were in the proposal so that like it's more clear for people to understand. Sure. And then like, so what are some other things that you guys are looking at, hoping to attract certain projects that you would like built on Neutron? Do you have some?
Yeah, for sure. I don't think I can drop names yet because, like negotiations haven't been completely.
But like maybe in general, like what kind?
Yeah, so like our goal is to have all the kind of like fundamental DeFi Legos on Neutron roughly at launch. So that includes a DEX, a money market, liquid staking, very likely a stable coin as well, probably a collateralized debt position stable coin. And perhaps a few other as well. We're looking to get potentially a NFT marketplace. Sorry, get invaded by a cat. And so yeah, like the ones that we are pretty sure we're gonna get at launch are stablecoin, liquid staking, DEX, AMM, money market. Sorry.
So interesting. That's actually a lot of projects. Yeah.
Yeah, and pretty high quality ones as well. And then on top of this, like we're the whole point of Neutron is to make the life of smart contract developers like much easier, and to make it much easier for them to leverage interchain technologies like interchain accounts and interchain queries. And so we've started discussing with about 20 teams perhaps already, with a wide range of different protocols. Some of them do kind of like liquidity management or liquidity provisioning for different types of activities, be it trading or kind of like moving assets from one ecosystem to the other. Others do automated yield strategies so that you can auto compound your LPs, or so there's a wide variety of protocols that are interested in these, and like in Neutron. But yeah, we will, like, as soon as we've finalized these negotiations, we'll be very happy to make joint announcements and stuff about this.
Maybe
it's also pretty
Cosmoverse
early as well, because like Neutron right now exists mostly as a code base on GitHub and has something that we actively work on, but the testnet is not live yet, and so it's kind of difficult for some developers to actually try it out and make up their mind about whether or not they want to develop on this platform, right? But this should change fairly soon. We published our roadmap a couple of, perhaps a week ago now, and with the stages for our testnets. And so I believe when we reach the second testnet, which we dubbed Hadron, it should be stable enough so that developers can actually start really looking into the depth of Neutron and seeing how the binding works, how the zone itself kind of works as a whole, and start developing on it if they're interested.
Nice. So now that we have all of these different products that are being built through the smart contract platform Neutron, are those going to be using the validator sets from Cosmos Hub, or are they going to need their own, or is it on Neutron through Cosmos Hub, or how does that work? Like the third, I guess the third project down the line that's being that's being built on Neutron.
Well, what do you mean? Sorry, can you repeat?
So the thing is now, for example, let's just take Lido, for example. So Lido is now, when we're going to do some liquid staking or any of those things, what is validating that that protocol there? Is it still through the consumer chain?
So like, so there's two things here. So, because like Lido as a liquid staking is kind of, like liquid staking as a category is kind of peculiar because it deals very closely with, validation itself.
Right.
So there are two parts of this. Like first, when you make a transaction on Neutron to use Lido, like, or any other liquid staking protocol or any other protocol on Neutron, you will pass a transaction that will be included in a block produced by the validator set of the Cosmos hub,
Okay.
but for Neutron, right?
Okay.
So like they will be running two nodes, and the nodes that they're running for Neutron are going to be the one that process the transaction, basically.
Okay.
Now, Lido as an interchain liquid staking protocol, just like Quicksilver, will be dealing with the validation of other networks. And so if you're, staking Atom with any liquid staking protocol on Neutron, like including Lido, you will be depositing it to the Cosmos hub to be, delegated to Atom validators. And so that will be processed on the hub.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to be able to dissect the different things here because, when it comes down to people asking questions that are kind of myself, I try to like bring it down because, there's so many geniuses that are in Cosmos. And then when you guys kind of get around and start speaking on your levels, it's like we try to make it more what I like to call Tony friendly.
Blockchain as an industry
Yeah,
is pretty hard to get in.
It's complicated.
But so to be very simple, like to try and break it down, you have multiple levels of the blockchain, right? The most basic level is the consensus level. The idea here is computers trying to agree on what is the, kind of like the book with all the transactions that actually existed. And that's the consensus level. You have the execution level and the settlement level. Let's, include them in one block here for the sake of simplicity, where it's basically, where we keep track of the transaction and when we, write them down, kind of like the execution is kind of the act of writing them down, processing the change in the state. And then on top of this, you have the application layer. And so in the case of Neutron, that's like the Cosmos virtual machine. The virtual machine, if I had to explain it, simplify it a lot, I would probably say that it's a way to take many different machines, so like all the nodes of all the different validators, and make them behave as if they were one computer that can take an instruction and just process it, right? So it's where the actual dexes happen. It's like all the DeFi basically exists within the application level. In Cosmos, it's a bit different because you can also have applications that work as modules, so like really directly into the blockchain's code. But Neutron as a smart contract platform with a Cosmosm, so like a virtual machine, has kind of like this layer on top rather than inside the blockchain, kind of.
Thank you. Yeah, I think that this is a very good explanation. You broke it down pretty well. Like I said, blockchain is not easy to understand for those who are just trying to get into it, and especially like now when there's different layers to the different blockchains, to the different projects. I mean, even just like for people to understand what Cosmos Hub is, and then all of a sudden to understand that like what these different zones are, and then within zones, then there's consumer chains on Cosmos Hub. You know what I mean? So it's like it's fractionalizing everything. So it's just like to try to be able to dissect what the different pieces are and then how they all kind of connect at the end of the day.
Well, consumer chains are actually pretty simple. They're different zones, right? So it's another blockchain, except it shares one of the layers with another zone, right? So it shares the consensus layer, the layer where the machines agree on what happened, basically.
Absolutely.
That's the only difference with independent blockchains. These ones are independent, but they share one layer.
Absolutely. Are there any other projects that do this that are outside of Cosmos?
So yes, like you can, like interchain security is, it's a Cosmos specific category of what is called shared security. I believe Avalanche does shared security with its subnets, for example. Like Ethereum with its roadmap.
Right.
Like, for example, I guess, like, I'm not an expert, so take this with a grain of salt. I unfortunately don't have the time to, well, whatever. You could probably say that rollups share their security, like because they settle on Ethereum, you could say that they share their security with Ethereum, I guess.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, this is the next level, the next step that Cosmos needs to kind of go into in the direction of, you know, bringing value into the whole ecosystem and things like that anyways. But yeah, interesting stuff. So where are you guys at now with Neutron? When do you guys think you're gonna, when do you project it's gonna launch? I know it's still dependent on interchain security launching and all of that being complete, but post that, like from interchain security to launch, do you think? How long?
I mean, we expect to launch fairly soon after the release of interchain security. The only thing in between being that we will have a dedicated interchain secured testnet to make sure that all of our code works, with interchain security, that we are fully prepared to launch the zone, that, we have one more occasion to test out all the potential bugs in the zone's code or on the smart contracts that people have started building on top of them. So there is this kind of like buffer in between, but basically once you have the release of interchain security, Neutron is, getting very close, basically. We expect it to be Q1 2023. It's difficult to give a more precise date because of these kind of like adjustable, like events in between. But so right now, what we're working on is finalizing kind of like the code base to submit it to the audit on the 19th of September. We're working on, having a good documentation so that devs can start digging into the code as easily as possible, understand everything, like how everything works. Yeah, and we're also preparing kind of like for the launch of the first testnet as well. We have this kind of very like this staged launch process because we really want to make sure that like the most secure Cosmos platform like is not a meme, right? That's what we're trying to achieve. So we want to make sure that it's being hardened as much as possible before launch.
That's good. That's good. We always want security. we want everything to be secure. Right.
Yeah.
So what I want to know also, is there an airdrop? I know everybody wants to know, is there going to be an airdrop? You don't know yet.
404, airdrop information not found.
404 error. Well, I mean, we're excited to have you guys at Cosmoverse. Is there anything else that you'd like to add? Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, like we're gonna have a booth at Cosmoverse, so like come see us. We're working pretty cool merch as well, so if you want to have a piece of that, do come and have a chat. We're excited to see everyone.
Is there something specific that you guys are like looking forward to? Seeing other people that are coming? Are you coming?
I mean, like, yeah, I am.
You'll be there. Perfect.
Yep. I mean, I'm excited to see basically everyone. Like, we have either budding or good relationship with pretty much everybody in the ecosystem. There are incredible builders, and so like getting to see them, getting to discuss what we can bring next to Cosmos is always like extremely exciting. And meeting people who actually use the systems, having the ability to get feedback, to involve them in the development and stuff is also extremely valuable. So we're like looking forward to that too.
Yeah, well, I mean, something I could definitely tell you is that there's going to be a lot of collaborations that will come out of this. It's like any ideas that you guys maybe weren't thinking about before, even not just you personally, but like just as a team and everybody that will be there. So I'm personally looking forward to all the different new collaborations that will come out of Cosmoverse, because, like put a room with all the geniuses, put all the geniuses in one room, and then just kind of like, see what happens from there and just kind of like kick it off. So yeah. Guys, if you guys are looking to come to Cosmoverse, tickets are still available. September 26th, September 28th, Medellin, Colombia. And check out, cosmoverse.org for more details. You guys want to check out Neutron, go to neutron.org. And yeah, check them out on Twitter, guys. Thank you for having us. Thank you for joining. And we'll see you guys there.